Hey everybody, I'm SK and welcome to the Haunting Grounds vlog. Today I wanted to talk about a couple of things real quick. First of all, I had to go and change, if you haven't noticed, the title of our vlog videos. I was using an abbreviation for the Haunting Grounds, which happens to be the same abbreviation that all these little teeny boppers are using for their vlogs about the Hunger Games. So my vlog was getting buried in amongst a bunch of irrelevant videos that really kind of didn't help me out any. So I'm just going to spell it out from now on, the Haunting Grounds, and leave it at that. Added a couple of things to the whiteboard this week. The skeletons that I built 2 years ago fell whilst being taken down and broke into several pieces. So to repair that is one of the things I've really got to get done this year if I want to use that. I also got a hold of some hardwood pieces and a tabletop and the stuff, and I'll show you right here. We've got most of the makings of a hot wire foam cutting table. I went out and my father gave me this tabletop piece here, some hardwood leg, which I'm going to actually cut this into 4 pieces. This is going to be 4 legs because they're going to be short stubby legs, and this is just going to sit a few inches up. This is going to be meant to sit right on my workbench. I've got a couple of pieces of hardwood set aside for building the frame around the or up underneath the tabletop, and building the whatever you want to call the contraption that holds the wire up. So that's been added to my list. It's something I wanted to get done. Past couple of seasons I wanted to try and do this. Would make working on tombstones a whole lot easier. I was able to get a little bit of progress done on the tombstone, the death's-head tombstone that I'm working on. You can see I was off on Easter this year. By the way, happy Easter. I hope everybody had a good holiday. I spent time in the basement working on Halloween props on Easter. But hey, that's alright. Got a little bit of work done, a little bit more work done on the lunette. Got the skull almost completely finished. Starting to work on the wings, and hopefully by next week the lunette will be done and I'll be working on the borders. So I know there's a lot of people that want to see how I do a lot of the weathering, some of my techniques for aging these tombstones. So I don't think this is going to be ready anytime soon for that. So what I'm going to do is this week I'm going to make up another tombstone, one with much less detail, and I'll do a video on the aging process that I use, and hopefully that'll get people off my back to finish this thing, because there is, like I said last week, my mind be here 1 minute and off somewhere else next minute, which is why I have this and the ground breaker and now the foam table, and probably something else before next week's over that I'll all be working on at the same time, fluttering back and forth from one project to another. Another thing that we're going to work on is I've been using Nox Arcana music for the past few years for all of my videos. I'm very appreciative of Nox Arcana and Monolith Graphics for letting us use their music, but I would like to start doing my own stuff and see if we can get some of our own stuff for the intro and outro music. That way, if I decide to monetize the videos later on, I can. I probably won't, because nobody wants to see those little ads popping up down here getting in your way, and you're like, oh, I can't see, god damn it, and you gotta close that. So hopefully I'm gonna work on some some of our own music. We'll see. We'll see how that comes out. It's time for this week's episode of What's in the Box. Each week, I'm breaking open one of the boxes out of our storage and just going through what's in the box and hopefully getting a little bit of inspiration.
There's your box.
Thank you, Igor. Cody. Let's see what's in this week's box. We have a Walmart bag full of LED tea lights. You can never have too many LED tea lights. We have an empty box. I'm in the habit of storing empty boxes. Empty boxes from our blue spotlights. Mist maker with LED. Let me tell you what. If you ever decide you wanted to buy one of these things, don't waste your money. For 20 bucks, I just didn't think it was worth it. Really didn't work that well. Didn't create a whole lot of mist. We have a lantern, and this is the lantern that our gravedigger holds. I picked this up from the party store for I think like 10 bucks. That's not too bad. It'd be better if I could find them a lot cheaper, but hey, take what I can get. We have some Walmart fog machine juice. And a Walmart fog machine. Which, by the way, these things get a lot cheaper after Halloween. So if you want to buy a couple of these, wait till after Halloween. You can get them for $5. And we have another box. And inside this box, we have more Walmart bags and Price Chopper bags and Stewart's bags and Bubbles and a whole bunch of very old bottles. Yeah, I did a little bit of digging in our backyard last year and came up with several old bottles that had been buried in our backyard. When we dug up the garden, we dug up all these bottles. So I went through and filled them up with seeds. These were all part of our witch house. Way back when, I think all they did was just bury their garbage all the time. So get neat little shaped bottles like this. You don't find these in stores. These aren't anything old. My neighbor found these in her collection of crap and gave them to us. But they're kind of cool. Little skull and crossbones and some little poison jars. More bottles. This almost looks like an old mouthwash bottle or something, I don't know. But yeah, we dug up all these bottles out of what's now our garden. And that's what's in the box. Now this week, one thing I wanted to cover, which is partially why we unpacked this box. Yes, I peeked in this box because I needed the fog machine and the fog machine juice. So this week I'm going to do a quick coverage of the Tombstone chiller that we made. Instead of showing you the outside, this time I'm going to show the inside, and we're going to do a test because unfortunately the past couple of years it's been a little too windy during the Halloween season for me to be able to use that. So I've never really given it a good test run, and conditions are right. There's no wind in my basement. My wife's not home to complain about it, so we're going to fire up the fog chiller and see how it works. And I'm going to share that with you guys. Real quick, before we go into the Tombstone chiller, I wanted to give some subscriber shout outs. We have 3 new subscribers this week, and Cody has agreed to come in and read off those subscribers for us.
Yeah, let's go with that.
So,
okay. Branson's Haunted Hills.
thank you for subscribing.
Ember Pup.
Dawn, thank you for subscribing.
And TSC 100001.
Thank you for subscribing. And for the rest of you who haven't subscribed, there's a little button right up there. Hit it. Like now. If you haven't subscribed, hit that little button right up there and subscribe. We need to get to 1 million subscribers before the end of next week.
I think it's a little high.
Or not. Alright, I'll settle with like 77. Alright. So, to show you what we've got going on with this Tombstone chiller. Cody, go ahead and take the top off here.
Alright, Captain.
Careful. Here is the inside, the inner workings of our Tombstone chiller. It's a typical reverse vortex chiller. I added a center brace here to kind of give a little extra support for the egg crate to hold up the weight of the ice. The fog is blown in from the back here in this little port. Comes out this top hole here. If anybody's not familiar with how a vortex chiller and a reverse vortex chiller works, this is a reverse vortex and basically works on the principle of hot air rises. So as the fog chills, it goes down through the ice and cools off and then comes out these 4 little ports here at the very base of the chiller, or of the Tombstone. There's 1 on either side, and there's 2 in the front. And my thinking on that was I wanted this stuff to spread the fog out as much as possible. So that's how you have it. Basically, this is just a elaborate design on the old Tidy Cats fog chiller, which is not my design. Same exact concept. This one is the one that I use for the cauldron creep. And my thinking was I wanted something that'll give a little bit more protection for the ice, keep the ice cooler so that it lasts longer. So instead of using a styrofoam cooler, we made one. Now the top here just sits and it acts as like a giant cork. This part sits right down inside, and we have this little outside edge here that overlaps the top, and all the way around the top here I have the foam window insulation. It's stick-on strip foam, and it does a pretty good job of sealing up the top so you don't get any foam leaking out of the top of the chiller. So now we're going to fill this. Actually, Cody, leave that open because we're going to fill it up with ice, and we're going to warm up the fog machine
Finish up with the ice.
And actually, we gotta warm up the fog machine first, Cody. We're gonna get this thing fired up, and we're gonna see how well it works. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we've got our fog machine all hooked up. We have the fog chiller filled with, well, not completely filled, but we've got ice in here. Hopefully it's enough. I've only used 1 bag of ice. It can handle probably about 4 bags of ice. I've got 1 bag of ice and a few soda bottles and water bottles filled with ice in here. So hopefully that's enough. We'll see how it works out. And we're gonna go ahead and fire it up. And that's pretty good. It's got a pretty good blanket of fog. Staying pretty close to the ground. Of course, all around me it's starting to raise up here right just with my body heat. So a few more bags of ice and this thing will probably be real good. That's pretty good. So, there you have it. There's our fog chiller in action. It works. Fog is pretty much staying kind of towards the ground. Probably a little bit more ice would make this work real well. But my basement is now nice and smoky. Foggy, and when we ventilate, hopefully the neighbors don't call the fire department. So, from the haunting grounds, I'm SK. Until next.